Welcome back to another TradeOut's technical analysis. In this video, we're going to be covering Chainlink and Basic Attention Token, two different altcoins that I think are in really interesting situations, could offer up some nice trade potential for us. Let's get to the charts. All right, so here we have BAT BTC on the daily time frame. The last time that I was talking about BAT was actually before this big move here. So I was giving this setup in one of my previous videos where you had a really nice edge-to-edge trade. And with Ichimoku, I'll just briefly go over that. Basically, you're looking for a few things. So you're looking for price closing inside of your cloud. So you need a closure inside a cloud while you have a bullish TK cross, which happened right here. And then your Chiku span needs to be above price, which your Chiku span would have been somewhere around this area. But you can see again, the Chiku span, this purple line, is above where price is sitting. So this is a lagging indicator. Obviously, you can see that it's actually forecasted behind. But again, that's your three criteria that you're looking for an edge-to-edge trade. And typically when you get the edge-to-edge signal confirmed, wherever that is, which in this instance, if I remember, it was actually right here. So it was right here on February 7th. And basically what you would have been targeting is you would have been targeting the opposite edge. Now, and it ended up being up here. I would have probably looked for somewhere around here where this, you see how the Kumo is really flat right here. This is the area I would have been targeting. But that is essentially the move that you look for when you have an edge-to-edge setup. Now, it actually the next day closed outside of cloud, barely. So depending how you would have traded this, if you would have had a closure below cloud or if you would have had your stop below Kijun, which, even wicked out the next day, depends how you would have traded this, but this likely would not have been a good setup. But you actually got another opportunity right here when this candle closed. So this candle right here on February 9th, when that closed inside, that gave you another really nice edge-to-edge opportunity. So what you would have been looking for is something like this. So again, price closed inside a cloud. You had all of the other criteria that I discussed. And ultimately you did. You actually got a really nice move up. Where'd you find your resistance? At the edge of the cloud. So your edge-to-edge trade here is completed. And now kind of what what you're waiting on is, do you actually get above the Kumo, above the cloud, and get a closure outside? Do you get that bullish breakout? Or what happens a lot of times is you get rejected. So this is why your edge-to-edge trade, this is your target, right? So the edge of the opposite edge of the cloud is your target. Because what happens a lot of times is you find resistance like we did here, and you see we had a big retracement. I mean, if you did this just in percentage terms, that's a 42% retracement after you hit your target. So this is why this is a take profit zone. But a lot of times you stay within the cloud until this happens. And I will highlight this because this is really important. So this right here. So this is a bullish Kumo twist. And basically, this is one of the things that you look for in, when you're looking for bullish trade setups. So basically what happened is that you have actually this is the low, there we go. So basically what happened, again, you came to your resistance up here at the edge of the cloud, you retraced all the way back down to actually your golden pocket. Like, this is amazing, right? So bottom of the cloud, which happened to be your golden pocket when you take it from the swing low all the way to the swing high here. Come back, you test the bottom of the Kumo. So you have no closures, right? You just have long wicks right into your golden pocket, and you've got a nice bounce now. So that's kind of where we're at. Now that you have this though, so this bullish Kumo twist, what I want to see out of Basic Attention Token is I want to see it continue higher and break this weekly. So now looking at where price is in relation to, the cloud, what I would, as far as what I would want to see is price actually break out above and close above this weekly while it's outside of the cloud. If that were to happen, I think that BAT could have a very nice move up. And kind of some areas that I would be looking at if I turn my pivots on. So we actually just got new monthly pivots today after the monthly candle closed. So obviously we have new pivots. You're sitting right on your monthly pivot right now. And so so again, I'm talking about kind of like a bullish scenario right now. And for me, if price closed outside of cloud, so if I got a daily close outside of cloud, especially above this weekly level here, your initial monthly pivots here at R1, which is basically, you can see how you've had a wick high here, a wick high here. So if I just drew this as a level for you, just so you can kind of see like that. So I don't normally mark these all the time, but this is a pretty important level. Again, you can see wick up, massive rejection, obviously, and this is coming back all the way from back here. All the way from back here, you got a huge downtrend. And then you got your first bounce up. Oh, I'm sorry. You got your downtrend here. You tried to get some kind of rally formed over here, and that completely failed. But this is your wick high here, and like perfectly, right? Come back up, test the same exact level over here. So this being your R1 monthly pivot, very big resistance. If this is reclaimed, I would obviously look a lot higher. And you can see, so the monthly SR level here, this is your R2 monthly pivot, perfectly lined up with your monthly level. So that's very good confluence as far as I'm concerned. Like if I was in a long position, I would definitely be looking to take some profit here because this could be a very big resistance. And then looking higher, see what else lines up. One thing that I like to do is take fibs, so fib retracement. So I would take it from the very high to the very low here just to see if anything lines up. And what do you know? So first of all, you have your weekly, you have your 236 fib lining up with your weekly level. I like that. You have your 382 over here. Your 382's lined up pretty darn close to your R2 monthly pivot and your monthly level. So that's just another form of confluence there telling you, hey, like this really is a legitimate level to watch out for. If we do get the breakout, this could be an area where you might look to possibly take some profit off. And then the big one. So this for me is always a really big level, especially when you have, when you're pulling these fib retracements on high time frames like this or higher time frames. So you have your golden pocket sitting in right where your macro point of control is. That is a huge, massive level. And your R4 monthly pivot sitting right closely again, it's sitting inside the golden pocket, but it's pretty close to your 618. Like this zone right here, if BAT is able to get a bullish breakout here and really start pushing up, this I expect to be very, very strong resistance. So as far as, again, if I got my criteria and I wasn't already in a trade, right? So if I got my criteria down here and I got my bullish breakout, I got a daily close above the cloud and it's above this weekly, like that is a nice long entry. Not financial advice obviously, but that's, that could be a very nice bullish breakout entry there because you have your bullish Kumo twist right here. So this is telling you, hey, like things are starting to look up. Things are starting to look better for BAT BTC. So this is kind of how I would be looking at my take profits though. Right. So again, your R2 with your monthly level, your 382 bearish fib retracement, and then you have your different levels. So you have your R4 pivot, macro point of control, golden pocket of this huge retracement. So these are really good levels to be eyeing if BAT BTC does break out, which to be honest, kind of the way that things have been going, it's kind of, for me, I would be leaning more bullish than bearish. But as far as like where you're sitting right here, to me, there's really no trade. Like this is just sideways. Now we're kind of back to kind of like a sideways consolidation until BAT decides what it's going to do. But the thing is, when it comes to Ichimoku, you can see again, the cloud, it flipped bullish here, but you're running out of time. So it's got to do something soon. So that's why, again, I'm doing this video, because you're going to see a move happen soon, in my opinion. Now, so I talked about kind of the bullish side of things, what I would be looking for, right? So again, your closure, you know, above this weekly level outside of cloud. So that's kind of what I would be eyeing right now. As far as a bearish scenario, it's really the loss of this cloud. So the loss of this support here, if you get a closure below, that would likely mean, you know, you were visiting this monthly level down here, but it would look pretty bad at that point. It would look pretty bad. So that's kind of like, you know, I lean a little more bullish than I do bearish. Like this is right here again, there's kind of not really anything to do. You got to kind of wait and see which side is it going to pick, because I think when it does pick that side, I think that it's gonna, you know, I think that it'll have some legs, whichever side that is. So I will update this, you know, as we go forward. But again, I would expect something to happen within the next couple of weeks. So within the next 2 weeks, I think we'll have seen a move either way, a definitive move either way. So we'll come back and update that. So that's BAT BTC. Now Link, Chainlink, this is one that I know a lot of people follow. And, you know, this is definitely one of interest. So I'll start out on the Bitcoin pairing just so you can kind of see, because it looks, you know, a lot of times you look at charts and the Bitcoin pairing looks really similar to the USD pairing, the USDT pairing. But in this case, it's pretty drastically different. So let me actually turn off Ichimoku, though. I clean this up a little bit. See, do I want to keep this on? Yeah, I'll keep it on for now. But I mean, Chainlink. So basically, I'm going to go back to where I started with this channel. This is an old channel. And again, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. You'll probably hear me say this a bunch more times. I do not delete old channels or levels. Like, I mean, that's not true. I'll delete old levels sometimes. But channels, I like to keep. Trading, like ranges, I like to keep. And I'll just put them in my in the folder and organize it. That way it doesn't look terrible. But this is a prime reason why. So I've been trading this channel since back in 2019. And you can see once the channel started forming, right? So you got your low up to the high, your low right here around the midpoint, almost coming back to your low. You got another high touch here. And then you kind of had this little sideways range before you got your impulsive move out. And you can see, so again, well respected here in this channel, right? Once you got your breakout, which if you can zoom in here, so you broke out of this channel, you got a perfect back test right here. You can see those 2 wicks on the daily time frame. Nice push up, come back down, back test again the channel. So this held as really nice support, right? Before you got a huge move up. I mean, this is a big move. So if you're talking from low to high, that's a 180% move in the span of really, that looks like, you know, a few weeks. But that was a very nice move. But again, all off this channel. And what happens after? So first of all, I'm going to measure this just so you can see how crazy it is to trade altcoins sometimes. Even things like Link. That's an 80% retracement against Bitcoin. So this is why it's really important that you don't always chart everything, or you don't trade everything solely based off of the USD pairing. Because a lot of times, like when you have something like this, even Link, which is like, that's a coin that has, you know, a lot of people talk about it, but you have an 80% retracement against this. Like you would have been better off in Bitcoin, obviously, right? So like charting things against Bitcoin is really helpful. Like I like to chart both Bitcoin and USD, because sometimes, you know, I might take the trade in USD, but I want to know, like, how does the charts look against Bitcoin? Because maybe I'll just stick to Bitcoin, right? But anyway, in this instance, you got an 80% retracement. And what do you know? You end up right back in the channel. So you came, you know, you come back in, you test your old channel, you get a bounce, test your channel again, and you break back into the channel. So now all I would look to do is pretty much trade the channel again, right? So you come back down to your low, you actually lose the channel, but you come and perfectly test your monthly. So this is why I love my levels. But you come back, you perfectly test your old monthly level here, and then you're kind of back in the channel. So it's not perfect, you get a little deviation here. You come back to the midpoint, top of channel, perfect back test at the low of the channel. So anyway, that being said, don't delete old channels. put them away, hide them, but you know, you can organize them in your folders here. So if you had a folder, you can literally organize everything, but you never know when they might come back into play. So what's next for Link BTC? Now it's kind of when I'm going to turn on, let's see what Ichimoku tells us. So this kind of tells you, this is really interesting. So here's your new monthly pivot, which is right basically where the cloud is. You're bullishly crossed. Cloud is still bearish, but you can see that you're closing. You're on this weekly support level for now, and you're holding up. You know, you're holding up pretty well on sitting on this weekly level. But for Link to turn around, price has to get back inside a cloud. At least, like, you got to start making progress here, and I think like you need to start making progress pretty soon, to be honest, because kind of like, you know, I think if you lose this weekly level again, you know, maybe you come back and test this channel. Like, it's done. It didn't do that well over here. I mean, you know, it's close enough, but you don't have much left. And like, if you do come back down to test this monthly, I don't really know. You know, again, the kind of the more times you test something, you know, the weaker it gets a lot of times. But there could be you know, I would maybe look to take a trade here if it came back all the way down to this monthly. But really what you know, obviously what most people would probably prefer to see is you need to see it kind of start making progress here. It needs to get back in cloud, get back above your tanking here, midpoint of the channel, and start making some progress. But as of right now, there's kind of nothing to see really. Like, there's kind of, you know, sitting on weekly support, and you have some very big resistance. You know, I would say like very big, but you know, on lower time frames, like you have some resistance above here. And, you know, you need to start working your way back up, because you're, you know, again, you lose this weekly level, kind of your channel level here, maybe might hold up price, but really I would probably look for it to come back down to this monthly. And then above, you know, if price is able to reclaim these levels, get back in, you know, and like you can see the cloud's thinning out quite a bit. So it wouldn't take too much to get the cross. You know, so if Link can start pushing, if you look, obviously 80% retracement here, you got a lot of room to run. Like, I think Link could push up really nicely again, but it needs to regain its footing. So let's take a look at the USDT pair. See if we see anything different. See, this looks much better, right? So if you look again, I'll just show you. This is the Bitcoin pairing again. So you can kind of see 80% drop, not looking so hot. But if you go to the USDT chart, things don't look so bad. So just you know, Link has done this one. I've actually charted this one pretty well. And this is you know, and I have all this stuff in Discord that I've posted a while ago. I actually haven't looked at Link in a little while, but you came really close up to this resistance box that I drew here, and it's your 1.618 fib extension. You also have a yearly pivot around here. I'll actually take a look at it. So I will throw on the yearly pivot just so you can see. You have your R3 yearly pivot in here. So this is what, you know, these are two of the factors that led me to draw this box. You can see they're all-time highs so far, very close. I mean, that's pretty darn close. And this was done well. This box was drawn well before any of this price action happened. But anyway, you can see you're sitting on your Tenkin. I'm sorry, your Kijun, your daily Kijun. So this is equilibrium. This is support. This is equilibrium. You're sitting right around your weekly level. And, you know, this is kind of another situation where you really kind of want to see this level held. You really want to see price start to work its way back up, because below you have, you know, you do have some pretty big support down here. And let me tell you, if Link does manage to drop down to this $18, $19 region, I would be very interested in taking a potential trade there, but not financial advice, obviously. But you have your golden pocket, which I'll draw for you. It's really just a swing low to your swing high. So you can see, right, your swing low here at $8 all the way up to your swing high at almost $37. So your golden pocket is sitting right here about $18 and $19, which is also where your cloud support is, and this weekly level, right? So if I turn on, I'm just curious, because if I turn on my new monthly pivots that just happened, do I have, well, of course. So you have your S1 monthly pivot. sitting right in this golden pocket. I mean, this is like really good confluence right here. So again, you have your golden pocket taken from this swing low all the way up to all-time high. You have your S1 monthly pivot, new pivot that just came out today. And you have your Kumo support here. This is a pretty big, and your weekly level, like this is a big support region. If price manages to come down here like this, I would be very interested in that. But for now, again, you're still holding these levels. It looks fine, but it needs to, and if it's gonna bounce, it needs to bounce here. I really don't, you know, especially you don't want to see this loss, this wick low here. So you know, would I take a trade here? You know, honestly, like if I went, maybe did some more analysis, went down a lower time frame, maybe you could find a decent setup. But for here, again, like you know, bidding your Kijun isn't never really that bad of an idea as long as you have a good stop loss. So like here, if you had resting bids here, this might have hurt. Depending, I don't know where you would have put your stop, to be honest. But, you know, usually bidding your Kijun here is not a bad idea. You got your cross. Beautiful move up. Now you're just back with, this is your equilibrium point. So this is your you know, your mean reversion play. So sitting, you know, taking a trade here, it's you know, could be of interest, but I would kind of rather wait to see if Link does show some strength here and start getting a push up, because I would honestly rather wait to see that sign of strength. Or if it came down to kind of this zone here, I would be very interested in looking at, you know, possibly taking a swing position off of here, because your invalidation is really simple. Like if you get, like just from an Ichimoku standpoint, you get a close like below this cloud, that's not going to be good. That's, you know, that's pretty easy invalidation for me if I do get this opportunity down here. So that's Link USD. And again, these are just two altcoins that I thought were in really interesting situations. BAT, obviously, talked about the trade setup for that, what I'm looking for. And then here on Link, it's the same thing, you know, like, do you have, you know, a potential entry here? Possibly, but I would rather wait for that sign of strength, you know, to see, you know, do we get some movement up? Maybe give me a better idea of where I would place my stop loss, or all, you know, what I would love to have happen would be to have this, have it come down to this zone, because this would be a very nice potential trade setup. So that's Link. Went over BAT, talked about Bitcoin very briefly. But if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind smashing the like button, this is a new channel. I'm trying to grow, obviously. I would really appreciate that. And if you could hit the subscribe button as well, be notified of all my future videos. But hope you guys have a great night. Trade safe out there.